Welcome to All You Gotta Do Is. I'm Elijah Ford. I'm an attorney licensed to practice law in the state of Washington, and I'm managing partner here at Atlas Law. On this show, I break down complicated systems in plain language, because if you don't get the system is gonna get you. Before we get started, a quick note. This podcast and video are for general information and educational purposes only. This is not legal advice, and listening or watching does not create an attorney-client relationship. Every situation is different, and if you need advice about your specific circumstances, you should talk directly with a lawyer licensed in your state. All right, with that out of the way, today's system is workers' compensation. I'll break down what representation actually looks like when you have a workers' compensation claim in Washington state. One of the first questions people often have is about attorney fees. Most folks are used to lawyers charging by the hour, but that's not how workers' compensation works in Washington state. By law, attorneys representing injured workers are paid only as a percentage of the benefits recovered. So as a practical matter, if you don't get paid, your attorney doesn't get paid either. Here's the general fee structure. For time loss compensation, it's typically 10% of ongoing benefits and 30% of any back benefits owed. For permanent partial disability, it's usually 30%. And for pension cases, it's 15% of what's called the pension reserve, which is the amount the Department of Labor and Industries sets aside to fund lifetime monthly payments. A key takeaway is this. Your attorney's incentives are tied directly to your outcome. Next, let's talk about what workers' compensation can actually provide. Depending on the case, benefits may include time loss compensation, loss of earning power benefits, curative medical treatment, medical evaluations, transportation to appointments, vocational retraining services, permanent partial disability awards, or permanent total disability, which is what most people refer to as a pension. Not every case gets every benefit, but those are the tools the system makes available. Now, it's just as important to understand what workers' compensation does not cover. Workers' compensation does not pay for pain and suffering, and it generally does not cover palliative treatment, meaning treatment that only makes you feel better without improving your medical condition. The disconnect can sometimes cause frustration if folks aren't aware of what the department will and will not cover upfront. A workers' compensation claim closes when all accepted medical conditions are found to be fixed and stable, also called maximum medical improvement, and when the worker is determined capable of gainful employment at roughly the same work pattern as before the injury. That's when the department issues a formal closure order. But claim closure does not mean your rights end. If you disagree with the closure, you can challenge it. You can protest with the Department of Labor and Industries. You can appeal to the Board of Industrial Insurance Appeals. And, if necessary, you can continue appeals to Superior Court and even the Court of Appeals. But here's what many people don't realize. Even if you agree with claim closure at the time, and later your condition gets worse, you have 7 years from the date of claim closure to reopen your claim for all the benefits we talked about earlier. After that 7-year window, you can still reopen your claim for medical treatment. Additional benefits like time loss or disability payments are then granted at the discretion of the Director of the Department of Labor and Industries. So even years later, you may still have options. We'll stop here for today. And if there's one thing I want you to remember, it's this. Workers' compensation isn't intuitive. It's a one-size-fits-all administrative process that sometimes doesn't work for everyone. If you're in Washington and you or a loved one is dealing with a workers' compensation issue, you can learn more about how my firm works at atlaslawps.com, or you could click on the link below. If you're elsewhere, make sure you speak with a qualified attorney licensed in your state who can look at the details of your case. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. If you're listening on the podcast, thank you for spending your time with me. I'm Elijah Ford, and this has been All You Gotta Do Is.